Hello, and welcome to LSET Tech Byte. Today we're going to walk you through creating a simple yet stylish music player using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a sleek player that you can customize to match your website's design. So let's dive in. Let's start by examining the HTML structure of our music player. We have doctype element that declares the document type as HTML5, lang attribute indicating the document's language. Within the head section, metadata such as character, encoding, and viewport settings are defined. This sets the title of the web page music player, along with links to external resources like CSS style sheets and font awesome icon libraries. Inside the body tag, we have a div element with the class player, which serves as the container for our entire music player. Within the player container, we have another div with the class details. This section will display information about the currently playing track, such as the track name and artist. Next, we have two slider containers. The first one is for the seek bar, which allows users to navigate through the track. The second one controls the volume of the player. Below the sliders, we have a section for control buttons. These buttons let users play, pause, skip tracks, and more. We've also included icons from Font Awesome to enhance the visual appeal. This line starts a div element with the ID attribute set to wave. The ID attribute provides a unique identifier for this div element, which can be used to target it with CSS or JavaScript. This line creates a span element with the class attribute set to stroke. Span is an inline element used to group inline elements in a document. Here, it's likely used to represent a graphical stroke or line. This repetition of span elements with the same class suggests a pattern or repetition in the visual representation, possibly indicating multiple strokes forming a wave-like pattern. Now let's take a look at the JavaScript part of our player. We've included jQuery for easier DOM manipulation and our custom JavaScript file, script.js. And last but not least, we have our CSS style sheet. This is where we define the styles for our game elements, making it visually appealing. Alright, let's dive into the CSS code that gives our music player its style and appearance. Starting with the body selector, we set the font family to Arial, Helvetica Sans Serif for consistent text rendering across different platforms. We've also applied a gradient background using the linear gradient property. In the player class, we've set the height to 95% of the viewport height and used Flexbox to center its contents both horizontally and vertically. The wrapper class provides a border, padding, border radius, and box shadow to create a neat container for our player. Moving on to the details class, it arranges the track details vertically in the center. The track art class creates a circular container for the track art with a subtle shadow effect. We've also styled the track name and artist for better readability. The buttons class aligns the control buttons horizontally with a bit of spacing. Each control button has its own class with hover effects to enhance user interaction. These buttons will play, pause, skip, and repeat tracks in our player. The slider container class centers the seek and volume sliders. We've styled these sliders to match the overall design, along with displaying the current time and total duration of the track icons for adjusting volume are also provided for user convenience. The rotate class creates a continuous rotation effect for certain elements, while the loader class centers and animates a loading indicator. The dot stroke class is part of the loading animation defined by the @rate keyframes animate rule. And there you have it. With these CSS styles, our music player looks sleek and modern. Feel free to tweak the styles to match your design preferences. Now that we've styled our music player with CSS, let's move on to the JavaScript part to give it functionality. Alright, let's dive into the JavaScript code that powers our music player. First, we have an array called music list that contains information about our tracks, including the track name, artist, image, and file path. We're using jQuery to ensure our code executes after the document is fully loaded. The load track function loads the selected track, resets the player's state with the reset function, and generates a random background color with random background color. These functions handle playing and pausing tracks, toggling random playback, and repeating tracks. The play-pause track function alternates between playing and pausing the current tracks. The next track and prev track functions move to the next or previous track respectively. .seek_to and set volume adjust the seek bar and volume slider, while set update continuously updates the player's current time and duration. Finally, we have event listeners attached to various elements to trigger actions such as playing or pausing tracks, changing tracks, and adjusting volume and seek position. Finally, we have event listeners attached to various elements to trigger actions such as playing or pausing tracks, changing tracks, and adjusting volume and seek position. And there you have it. With this JavaScript code, our music player is fully functional and ready to use. Feel free to customize it further or add more features to suit your needs. Stay tuned for upcoming tutorials on this channel, delivering concise and valuable insights to elevate and enrich your skills and knowledge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome tutorials like this. See you in the next one.